Welcome to another episode of Insights with Us. I'm Anastasia, a licensed professional counselor, owner of Happy Mind Wellness Company, a Colorado-based therapy practice, and creator of this podcast. My goal is to use this platform to help others find their voice as we share our journeys and to show support as we learn more about ourselves in life. Growth happens when we get uncomfortable, which happens when we sit with new ideas we haven't sat with before. I hope that we can work on this journey of personal growth and understanding together. As a disclaimer, there may be swearing in this podcast, but sometimes we get caught up in the human experience. It happens. And sometimes we can talk about difficult or activating topics. So maybe put on some headphones if you need to, and remember that support exists for you if you want it. Last episode, we talked about trauma and how it is often stored in our bodies, helping us survive, but also causing us to respond to current situations in old ways. We also talked about how to start connecting to our bodies, paying more attention to it, and noticing cues as our bodies communicate with us. If you haven't yet, I recommend going back and checking out that last episode with Amanda Ng. But today, I want to dive deeper into this idea, this question of how can we start connecting and listening to our bodies. So let's get started and see if we can build some insight today. Let's start with the basics. Even if you are someone who has never thought about embodiment work or wanting to listen to your body and its cues, I promise you, you already listen to your body in some way. It's just on autopilot, and maybe you never slowed down to notice it. Have you ever needed to stretch? Ever rolled your neck? Ever wanted to sit or lie down or get off your feet? What about wanting to put lotion on, or grabbing a sweater, or taking off a sweater? Every single one of these examples are a body cue. I want to introduce this idea of slowing down and having curiosity with these cues, because again, they're already there. You just need to be aware enough to notice them. So what does it mean to take off autopilot and notice? My favorite question for this, which people often don't know the answer to, is how do I know that I want to do that? If you needed to stretch, how did you know? Maybe your back was feeling tight, or your calf was cramping. If you rolled your neck, what did your neck feel like right before you rolled it to let you know that that's what you needed to do to make it feel better? How did you know? Did you just put lotion on for absolutely no reason at all? I mean, maybe it's a habit at this point. Or did you feel that your hands were dry and it needed some lotion? How did you know that you were cold and wanted a sweater? Were you shivering with your teeth chattering, or did your skin just kind of feel goosepimply or upset and you're like, I am cold? How do you know? What did it actually feel like to be cold? These types of cues often come so naturally to us that we don't even need to slow down and notice them. However, noticing them, naming the cue, sitting with it before acting upon it, and then giving your body what it wants is one way to start building mindfulness and connecting with your body. One exercise that I use to strengthen this skill of noticing is to sit somewhere, on the floor, on a yoga mat, on a chair with nothing around you, and just wait. Wait until your body tells you it needs something. Maybe it tells you right away. You sit down on the floor and your body's like, well, this is really uncomfortable. We do not like how hard this floor is. Maybe your butt starts hurting. And you feel this urge to go sit on the couch. Can you notice what happened there? What your body responded to and how it responded, so that you know you want to sit on the couch for this exercise instead of on the floor. Maybe your hips felt tight. Maybe it was 100% in your brain, but probably not. And then as you're sitting there, you might start to feel sore muscles or tightness, like in your shoulders or in your back. Notice that tightness or that tenseness before giving in to the urge to move. Sit with it for a minute And then once you've sat with it, once you've noticed the urge and noticed the tightness, then stretch it out, move around, settle back in whenever you're ready, when you're done moving, and then notice the difference in the sensation. Has the tightness gone away? Does it feel better, worse, or the same? Sometimes what happens if it feels better is we just move on. We forget to acknowledge it and we just move on to the next thing that's talking to us. Oh, my neck feels so much better, but now my back hurts. I should stretch that out. Well, if you never stop to go, wow, my neck does feel better. That feels amazing. I'm so glad I stretched it. I know it seems silly or pointless, but it is important to give yourself credit for listening to your body and for helping it out. If you just move on, then you are continuing the pattern of disconnecting. You are only paying attention when it is bad enough that you can't ignore it. This is the pattern that we want to break. We want you not just to notice when you are in deep pain. We want you to notice when you feel good. We want you to notice when it's just a little uncomfortable. The more you can pay attention, the more insight you will have into the subtleties of your body cues. We need to give value to every body sensation, feeling, or life experience, not just the ones that we need in order to survive. If you only pay attention to what is going wrong, then you will get stuck in that pattern. And in the future, you will only highlight and see what is wrong. This is called negative sentiment override, which is a term that comes from the Gottman Institute, which we've talked about before. Basically, the good stuff doesn't count. And we want to reverse this so that when bad things happen or uncomfortable emotions or body sensations come up, we can give ourselves or our partners or our friends the benefit of the doubt that it's just a bad day and it's not forever. So that's how to start noticing body cues at all. Sometimes it's easier to start with physical sensations, but then the next way that you can notice is by noticing physical sensations that come up in relation to emotions or stress. Because once you've gotten better at noticing how and when your body wants to move, then you can start noticing the more subtle ways your body is talking to you. Or even not subtle, but maybe you've never connected it to your actual emotional experience before. So for example, did you know that nausea and stomach aches could be a sign of anxiety? Tightness in your shoulders or in your jaw can be a sign of stress. Actually, for me, the tightness in the jaw isn't just stress, but it also comes up with grief. Clenched fists or a hot face can be a sign of frustration or irritability. Having hunched shoulders, hunched body language, feeling heavy or tired or lethargic can be signs of sadness. Feeling energetic or lighter can be a sign of happiness or excitement. And you might be hearing these examples and think, duh, but have you actually slowed down in the moment to notice that that isn't actually a feeling or an emotion? That's a body sensation. Have you noticed what the heaviness feels like? Have you noticed that tightness in your jaw when you get stressed and gone, wow, my body's talking to me? Have you used this information that your body is giving you? You can have better insight into your headspace and engage different coping skills to help you through it. Can you actually pay attention to not just the thoughts or the gut reactions happening in a situation, but also to the emotions and body sensations that you are experiencing that inform what you're going through? Learning to pay attention to this starts with bigger sensations, because if you are disconnected from your body, you're not going to notice the subtleties. So you might notice cramps, hunger, tired eyes, the stuff that we can't really ignore, even if we try to. But the more you intentionally slow down and notice these sensations and how they shift as you give your body what you want, the more sensitive you become to your body's cues, and then you'll begin to notice even more. For example, when I was a teenager and at my most anxious, I was completely shut off from my body. I never knew what it wanted from me, and I often ignored any cues it gave, to the point that I actually never felt hungry. I could not tell when my stomach was empty and it was screaming at me for sustenance. I would not notice until my stomach was in horrific knots and I was lightheaded or even fainting, at which point I'd realized I had skipped almost every meal for that day. I used to set alarms to remind myself to eat something. That's how bad it got. So now, with all this work I've done, I notice when I'm feeling hungry almost immediately. I very rarely get to the lightheaded stage. And when I do, it's usually because I'm in the middle of a big project and literally couldn't stop, not because I didn't notice it. Sinking even deeper into that emotional space, I can tell the difference now between my casual anxiety, which feels like a slight tightness in my chest, from I need to panic, I am taking on too much, I am overstimulated anxiety, which is nausea, fidgeting, and inability to sit still. And I can distinguish that from I went too far and pushed too hard, and now my body is shutting down to protect myself, which feels like numbness. I don't feel anything. And in the past, I used to think, great, I'm not feeling anything. This is good. And now I can notice that it is, in fact, just numbness. I will stare off into space for extended periods of time in complete stillness before jumping back into action because I feel like I have to. It's not calm. It's not safety. It's shutting down. And I can notice it in the moment while it's happening now because I have that insight and that awareness. So today, I'm giving you some places to start this journey. Being able to just slow down and notice the tightness. Noticing how you know you want to stretch or put on a sweater. And then as you notice that, you can sink deeper into, hey, I feel really good today. What do I notice in my body? To, ooh, I feel really stressed today. Now what am I noticing in the body? What is the difference? So now that I've given you a couple places to start, I want to guide you through a somatic, a mind-body exercise. This comes from the book Somatic Therapy Toolbox by Manuela Mishka-Reitz. And I have adapted it a little bit because over time I kind of use my own language and I like to edit any meditations to fit my own language and feel a little bit more natural for me. So as I guide you through this, I want you to do your best to slow down, be curious, and honestly not even have any expectations for this exercise. The goal is not to suddenly have a strong awareness in your body. The goal is to simply notice whether or not you can notice something. And if you can't, if you notice nothing, that means you're building insight into how disconnected you might be. That's also important information. So let's begin. I want you to start by trying to find a comfortable position. If you're just chilling and listening, I want you to lay down or grab a spot on the couch. If you're walking or driving, just pause for a moment. Maybe stretch or shift a little, maybe do some little cat-cows. And release just a little bit of tension. Feel free to pause this if you really want to settle in. And once you get there, I want you to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, either close your eyes or just let that intensity soften. And take a moment to be with your breath. Feeling your belly expand on the inhales and collapse on the exhales. What does it feel like to have that air rush in and out of your body? Can you notice a difference in the inhale compared to the exhale? How do they feel different? Take a few more breaths in your own time. And once again, I want to name that the goal of today's exercise is not to find a deeper meaning or to fix your experience, but to connect yourself with your body as it is experiencing. If you catch yourself trying to problem solve, take a deep breath in to acknowledge that desire to fix, and then exhale to come back to the sound of my voice and what your body is experiencing. Next, I ask you to bring your attention to your body right now in space. What parts of your body are being supported right now? What parts are not? Are there any gaps where parts of your body are touching nothing but air? Try to notice your hands and your feet. Are they loose and relaxed, or are they tense, pressing into something? Scan your body from your head to your toes in any order or direction that feels right to you, and see if you can notice any tension or physical sensations that you're having. You might notice the temperature of the air, the tightness in your jaw, a grumbling stomach, or a tightness in your chest. Make a note of what stands out to you and continue to breathe. Now, I want you to think about a memory that you struggle with that causes some stress or frustration. It doesn't have to be the most intense memory unless you want it to be. But find something in your mind that creates some kind of reaction within you. Whether it's a particular moment or a set of moments with a strong emotion flowing through them. Allow yourself to be there in your mind. Sitting just for a moment with those details. Do any colors stand out to you? Any sensations? Can you picture how you stood? What your posture was like? If there was anyone with you or if you were alone, how did the interaction go? How did you react in this memory? And then I want you to identify what emotion is tied to this memory. Is there any fear, sadness, anger? And what kind of fear or sadness or anger is it? Is it strong or is it weak? Is it overpowering or is it quiet? Is it bubbling over or sitting just under the surface? Check in with your body once again and see how your body has reacted to this change in attention. What do you notice that's different? Where do you feel that change? Is there a tightening or a loosening somewhere in your body? Notice what that change is like. Is it stronger on one side of your body than the other? Does it feel like you're trying to hold something in or push something out? Do you notice any urges to move or do something? What kind of impulses do you have? What does this feeling, this experience, make you remember? What words are tied to this experience that you are having? Take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, allow that image, that memory to pass and bring yourself back to this present moment. Notice the cool air as you inhale, the warmer air as you exhale. Allow the tension in your body to lessen and notice once more the pressure of the chair, the ground against your body as it supports you, even if it's just the ground through your feet. Broadening your focus, I'd like you to notice the sounds happening around you, whether it's the sound of my voice, of your computer or phone, or even your own breath. Notice it now as you take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, I want you to check in with your body once more, not quite moving yet, and see how your body wants to wake up from this exercise. If you notice a tenseness or an urge to move, sit with that urge for a moment. How do you know what your body wants? Where do you feel that urge in your body? And when you're ready, once you've noticed, I want you to give in to that urge, bringing some movement back into your body. Maybe you rotate your wrists and ankles. Maybe you shake your head side to side. Maybe you do a full body stretch. Hell, maybe you even just sit really still for a few moments longer because that stillness just feels so good. And whenever you're ready, go ahead, open your eyes, bring yourself back to the present moment, focus back in on whatever you were making or whatever speed you were running at. And I want you to think of the different ways that you can start connecting to your body. Noticing when you need to stretch and pausing to feel that urge before you actually start moving and stretching your body. Pausing to notice sensations like hunger or tiredness or restlessness. And see if you can figure out how you know your body is telling you what it needs. Maybe you start slowing down to notice your emotions and how they show up in your body, the shape that they take, and the movement of your body when it's experiencing that emotion. I invite you to pick one of these options to notice this week. Even if it is something as simple as when you get in the shower, notice what the water feels like when it hits your body and how your body responds to that. Does it feel good? Is it colder than you were ready and it was very shocking? Did you feel release of tension or relief? Do you hate showers and you're just filled with more stress? Whatever it is, just notice it. Embodiment takes time, especially if we've disconnected from our bodies out of a place of survival or need because the discomfort was too strong. But I promise you, if you can find that connection again, yeah, sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, but it also informs your experience. Your body isn't trying to hurt you by making you feel uncomfortable. It is trying to help you on this journey, on this life. And hopefully something we talked about today resonated with you. If it did, let yourself sit with that idea for a little while longer. If you have any questions for this podcast or any themes you'd like us to focus on in the future, send us a message on Instagram at insightswithus podcast or send us an email at insightswithus@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to hear more, please follow, like, or subscribe. And if you want to support the continuation of this podcast, you can donate. To do so, find me, Anastasia Soroka, on buymeacoffee.com. Or if you want a chance to sponsor an episode, find Insights with Us now on Patreon. I hope to continue to build exclusive content, but bear with me, my business and world are expanding this year in every single direction. So I just want you to know, no matter what, I appreciate you, and I appreciate that you are listening. Thank you for creating insight with us.